and completion of the Massachusetts National Guard Readiness Center at Natick. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and the playing of the ruffles and flourishes of the General's March to honor Major General Rice, followed by the national anthem. Chaplain Miner, will you please come forward to provide the invocation?
From Psalm 127, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guards stand watch in vain. Those who freely choose, please join me in prayer. Blessed God, we thank you and praise you for the successful completion of this Readiness Center. Thank you for the many partnerships which enabled obstacles to be overcome and work to be completed, most especially within our Commonwealth, the Guard leadership, and our federal partners. May this center be welcomed as a valued new neighbor where the Guard has had a long presence. God, we know that brick and mortar is ultimately about people and the state and federal missions of the Guard. Therefore, we pray that this Readiness Center will indeed be a place of challenging, realistic, and effective training for the force. May all who train here uphold our values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Finally, on this day of celebration, we remember our comrades in arms serving around the world right now, our veterans who have served in the past, our honored dead, and those who mourn. We remember those who are suffering from wounds, praying for their healing. We pause to acknowledge your abiding presence with us, O God, and pause to give you glory, as you are above all powers, ranks, principalities, and authorities, and you reign forever and ever. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Congresswoman Catherine Clark, Secretary, Department of Veteran Services Coleman Nee, the the Adjutant General, Major General Rice, State Representative David Linsky, Major General Retired Wayne Wagner, General Kondrachuk, General Labolito, Deputy to Commanding General at Natick Soldier Center, Christine Marsh, Division of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance, Deputy Commissioner Liz Minnis, Regional Director of the Office of the U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Kate Moore, the Chairman of the Natick Board of Selectmen, Joshua Ostroff, the District Director of State Senator Karen Spilka, Pooja Mehta, the Natick Deputy Town Administrator William Chenard, Senior Policy Advisor to Governor Patrick Adam Freudberg, Land Component Commander of the Mass National Guard Colonel McGurn, Massachusetts Chief of Staff Colonel Cody, United States Property and Fiscal Officer Colonel Devine, the Command-in-Chief Warrant Officer CW5 Quinn, and the State Command Sergeant Major Ramos Riveras. Welcome to today's events. I am Major Jonathan Carney, and I will be your narrator for today's ceremony. The hard work on this new state-of-the-art Readiness Center is complete thanks to the team effort of DHK Architect and Engineer, J&J Construction, Ms. Catherine Walsh, Project Manager, DCAM, John D'Alio, Assistant Project Manager, DCAM, Don Market, Resident Engineer, DCAM, and Phil Pissarro, Project Manager, Massachusetts National Guard. This Readiness Center, which is the home to the 26th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade and the 26th Network Support Company, strengthens the Massachusetts National Guard's state mission as first responders in domestic emergencies, as well as a partner in the Natick community. The new, fully handicap accessible administrative facility is a two-story, 46,500 square foot brick veneer building. This facility includes 5 separate classrooms with full audio-visual capabilities, support offices, a library, a fully functioning kitchen, a locker area, and secured vaults. The almost 4,000 square foot classroom space, the 160 square foot learning center, and the 300 square foot library is all state-of-the-art. This dedicated professional development space will be utilized by soldiers on a daily basis. In addition to the Readiness Center, there are secured and segregated military and civilian parking, out of which there are approximately 150 parking spaces for civilians in the front of the facility, and to the rear of the facility is military parking. This military parking will include trucks, trailers, and the high mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicle known as the Humvee. Today, we are honored to recognize several distinguished speakers to commemorate this historic event. It is my pleasure to introduce the first speaker of today's ceremonies, the Chairman of the Natick Board of Selectmen, Mr. Joshua Ostroff.
What an honor. Thank you so much for the opportunity to offer a few remarks on behalf of the town of Natick and the Board of Selectmen. We welcome the National Guard Readiness Center to the community. This is an extraordinary facility worthy of the wonderful mission of the Guard. In a dangerous and changing world, we don't know what threats Guardsmen of the future will be called upon to serve. We don't know what national emergencies, what international crisis, what issue generations from now, young men and women will be asking them to send into harm's way. So it's great to have a facility here in Natick, a community since the Revolutionary War, stretching throughout the course of American history and for generations to come, has willingly sent its young men and women into harm's way. We have a proud tradition in Natick of service, and our families here are incredibly supportive. And I'd like to thank, on behalf of the town, the federal government, the National Guard, our legislature, and all who helped play a pivotal role in bringing this to fruition. So thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. And I'd just like to emphasize how real this is and how families across the Commonwealth and across the nation understand the burden that is borne by relatively few families in the country today. You know, the family and friends of Lieutenant Colonel Morris Fontenot from Virginia, an Air National Guardsman who was lost in the hills of Virginia just a few days ago, feel that very well. But all who have suffered loss of a loved one or a debilitating injury understand the importance and the threat that's very real that we face from today's headlines and who knows what tomorrow will bring. The community appreciates that. I do as well. I thank you so much for the honor of representing the town today.
Thank you, Mr. Ostroff. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Deputy Commissioner of DCAM, Ms. Liz Minnis.
Good morning, and thank you so much for inviting me here today. I'm here on behalf of Commissioner Carol Cornelison, who regretfully couldn't make it today, but she sends her best wishes. I'm really excited and honored to be here in Natick with federal, state, and local officials to celebrate the collaboration that's resulted in the opening of this truly world-class facility. As I think you know, the Patrick administration has been committed to innovation and leading by example, further defining Massachusetts as a top state in the nation for energy efficiency. And this facility is a testament to that commitment. The building's designed to meet the needs, as you heard, of the National Guard for training and support emergencies and events that require immediate response. But it also meets energy standards that will achieve efficiency even while operating the advanced technology equipment that generally takes more energy. So it's quite an accomplishment. I'm pleased to announce that the facility is anticipated to achieve a LEED Silver rating, featuring energy conservation measures including stormwater management, so important in this area to the community, advanced heating and cooling systems, and cool tubular skylights that bring in natural light without heat gain or loss. The energy performance of the building is designed to be 20% better than the demands of the Mass Energy Code as well. It's been really great to work with the National Guard team, and I especially want to thank Colonel Tom Harrop and his staff who've worked with us on this and many other really important Guard projects. Colonel Harrop has also played an important role on our Advisory Council for the Integrated Facilities Management Initiative, which is an initiative of DCAM to improve the way we're managing and maintaining our state assets. We're also always pleased when we collaborate effectively with our federal partners. And on this project, significant federal contribution was leveraged from the federal government, making our state investment go further to accomplish this quality project. Thank you, Major General Rice and your team at the Mass Army National Guard, and to our design team, led by the architects Dominic, Hicks, and Krokomalnik, and our contractors, the builders, J&J Contractors, as well as our federal, state, and local partners for making this project a true success. And finally, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the members of the DCAM team who've worked so hard on this project. Michael Lambert, our Director of Design and Construction, who's busy on another project today, but has been very involved, and Elaine Campos and David Lynch, who planned the project to make sure that it really met everyone's needs. And Catherine Walsh, John DeLilio, and Don Marcotte, who were here during the design and construction, making sure everything went smoothly. And then Jane Wang, John Ferrara, and Jeremy Haskins from our space planning team, who took care of all the furniture and layout and collaborated with the Guard team. Massachusetts owes a great debt to our servicemen and women, and it's a privilege to be able to give them a facility worthy of all they do to protect our public safety and to serve our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Minnis. It is now my pleasure to introduce State Representative David Linsky.
Good morning and welcome to Natick. This is an honor to be here today. This is an important facility and an important event for a variety of reasons. First off, it's important that the National Guard have a first-class, state-of-the-art facility to assist them in carrying out their mission in the global war against terror. As Selectman Ostroff said, you never really know what the Guard is going to be called on to do, but they need to make sure that they're ready to do it. And we here in Natick are very, very proud to have this facility. It's also an important statement to the members of the Guard themselves, that they have a facility as beautiful as this, as first class as this, as up to date as this. It is a recognition of the importance of their work. It's also important to the people of the town of Natick that we have this first class facility here as well, replacing a facility and a building that quite frankly was an eyesore. And that the people of Natick are happy and are proud to have this here as well. On behalf of the legislature, on behalf of the speaker, on behalf of the people of the town of Natick, I'm proud that we in the legislature appropriated the state funds for this project. This is an example of state investment in something important. Whether the state investment here in this Readiness Center, or a state investment in the new roads and bridges in this area, or the state investment in the schools, it's an example of how the Commonwealth of Massachusetts steps up to the plate and provides first-class facilities for the people of Massachusetts. This is a proud day. It's a proud day for the Guard. It's a proud day for Massachusetts. It's a proud day for Natick, and I'm honored to be here and share this with you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Linsky. It is now my pleasure to introduce Congresswoman Catherine Clark.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. It is a great pleasure to be here with you for this tremendous opening. Major General Rice, Deputy Commissioner Minnis, Representative Linsky, Chair of our Selectmen Ostroff, local leaders, and of course our military officials and personnel, and Secretary Nee. It is just really a pleasure to be here and to underscore through this incredible facility our commitment to our nation, our Commonwealth, and our service members. 2 years ago, this project broke ground, but we often talk about partnerships, but this truly reflects a partnership with the town of Natick, with the state, and with the federal government. And it really shows that what can be done, and we so appreciate the Commonwealth stepping forward and really ensuring that we can do this, and at the same time providing Natick with some additional open space in a project that really encompasses so much and shows the best of what we can do when we work together. And we are very proud in Massachusetts that we are home of the very first National Guard, and we want to lead in the country by continuing to provide the state-of-the-art technology, training, and facilities that we have here in this readiness. And it's not only this particular wonderful facility and what that will be able to provide, but making sure that we continue to lead in the health and success of our active duty and our returning service members. We have to make sure that when they come home for their families, they have the services they need and deserve, whether it's medical care, mental health services, housing, childcare, education, job training, a chance to access resources to start their own small business. And at times, as of recently, we also will come together as a community to honor those that we have lost, whether it was very recently with General Green, or even just this past week with the loss of Lieutenant Colonel Morris Moose Fontenot of the Air National Guard, and our thoughts are with him and his family. So again, I extend my gratitude for those who will come here to serve. And at the federal level, I know I speak for our entire delegation when I say you have our strongest commitment to partner with our service members and guarantee they receive the benefits, the training, and the support that they deserve. My staff is here. I have Anthony Mareschi, who does my veterans work, and Wade Blockman, who is with me, who works out of our Framingham office serving the Natick area. Our door is open to you. I hope you will call on us if we can be of any help. Thank you for letting me be part of this wonderful celebration and this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Clark. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Adjutant General of the Massachusetts National Guard, Major General L. Scott Rice. Congresswoman Clark, you do it every time. I've heard you speak just a few times, and every time you change my mood and my atmosphere, and I always look forward. There's so many things that are happening in this world that we want to look backwards and reflect, and sometimes they get a little depressing sometimes, and you definitely change that vector and send me forward. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part. Thanks for saying the right things at the right time about all the things we do in service, for our country, for our community. But we know this journey that we're on is a long path. It's a long road. It started many years ago. As you spoke about, this is the birthplace of the National Guard, is in Massachusetts. All this crazy business started in 1636 by a simple order from the Massachusetts Bay Colony General Court. And they signed into law December 13th, 1636, and they said, let's establish a militia to protect us from those crazy Indians running around trying to kick us out of here. And it worked. We made history. And as General Wagner, who's here, knows that he's a former adjutant general, he knows that this path to create this building is a long one. It's a hard one, and it comes through a lot of ups and downs. You say, oh, it's easy. With the $1 trillion debt that our national government has, there should be just a few million that we can peel off and build a world-class facility for the #1 unit in the Massachusetts National Guard. But it's not so easy. It does take a long road. In fact, shortly thereafter, after 1636, as our dear Representative Linsky informed me, John Elliott, those of you who have not met him, he was around in 1651 and started this business called Natick, and turned it into, as at one point mistakenly, I was so impressed, I called this a city, but Representative Linsky was quick to inform me this is actually a very nice town. And for being a town means that there's not a mayor. We have a prestigious mayor, Keyser, over here from Amesbury, but he knows that it's a lot of work to run a city, and it's a tremendous amount of work to run a town. We thank you for your work as chairman of the Board of Selectmen there. Joshua Ostroff and I have met several times on several events. In fact, we talked about carving a piece of the land off to give to the community and make sure that all went smoothly, correctly, properly. And now we have the fruits of that labor with not only a nice building and a nice entranceway. And Representative, I will get to that fence out there and make that a little nicer. But we have a nice park that we're nearby. And then around the corner, we have the only last surviving, living, breathing, growing representative of the Army at Natick Soldier Systems Center. The Natick Labs, as we like to call it, is the last place where the active duty Army is in New England, not only just Massachusetts. And we have, where is she, Christine and Lieutenant Colonel Greta here as representatives of that fine institution. And hopefully, as we get that street redone, we have the opportunity to rename it General Green Ave. And boy, would that be great. I'm standing here in uniform because of that man's father. I had an unfortunate accident while I was in college and lost the tip of my index finger. And crazy as that may seem, the Air Force sent me a nice note and said, thank you very much for your dedication to the Air Force, but we have no longer need of services of disabled people in our military. And so I got this letter and said, you're out of the military. So I fought and I fought and I fought with no avail, no success. And so I said to my friend, Harry Green, who I went to college with, I said, I'm done. I'm out. You're in the Army. You're off. You're going to do great things, and I'm going to quit. I'm going to go off into the civilian practice in the civilian world as an engineer. And he said, well, before you make that decision, come over to my house. We went to his house in Albany, and his World War II father, oh my goodness, there's no doubt what I was going to do after I talked to him. So back I went, head in strong into the game, and as you can tell, I joined the military, and I'm thinking about making the Air Force a career at this point. So it's been a long path, and it's been a wonderful one. And as we jump from 1651 forward, do you know this is the birth state, Commonwealth, of the U.S. Army, too? And if you forget the date, that flag says 1775, when George Washington took command of the U.S. Continental Army there in Boston, and actually in Cambridge. And that's pretty impressive what our state has as we move forward. So then let me bring you forward a little bit quicker and bring you to the time around the turn of the century. And these crazy people over in Europe decided to have some sort of world war. And we established at that time the 26th Yankee Division. And that's the history of the Yankee Division, where we began that prestigious flag. And General Wagner was an active part of that unit and that heritage as it carried on through the 80s. And then with the downsizing of the Army, we downsized our force. So then we transformed the division into a infantry brigade. And that 26th Infantry Brigade was a prestigious brigade in the U.S. Army. And then as we evolved along, we evolved it into the 26th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade. And that is what this building is. This will be the home of that prestigious command and all that lineage and all that history. In fact, we have Colonel Promotable Frank McGurn here, who was formerly the commander of the 26th Brigade, and brought it to its level of professionalism it is now. And it's great to have this facility here that his former command and that the #1 Army Brigade we have in our force to move into this building and take occupancy and be a part of that. But we know it takes a whole bunch of people to make that work. We've already heard a little piece of all those pieces that comes. But you know, we have a bunch of general officers here, and I'm very impressed. General Wagner and your wife, for you to come out, thank you very much for being here. Yeah. In the third row, I call them the Three Musketeers. We have General DiCarlo, we have General Kondrachuk, and we have General Labolito back here holding up the General Officer Corps. And thank you all for being here as well. Well done. Now, one thing I skipped over in history is, if you can imagine, back in 1636, the General Court said, hey, first weekend in April, let's have a drill, and let's get you all mustered, all you militia. And I can just imagine the gaggle that was, and probably the drinking games that happened after that. And they figured out that a band of local citizen farmers with pitchforks and maybe a few muskets is really not the tip of our military spear. And they need a little bit of help. So the next year, they established something to form, train, and organize the militia, and they called that the Ancient and Honorable Artillery Company. And that was, and our flag, which is not up here, I'm sorry, our National Guard flag says 1636, and then right after that in 1638, June, the first Monday of June, we established the Ancient and Honorable Artillery Company in Boston, and that's the third oldest military organization in the world. The second is the Honorable Artillery Company from England, and the oldest is the Swiss Guard, and we all know what they do. But the captain commanding, running the organization, is Jerry McCarthy. Thank you very much for being here. And if you missed it, with the and I'm not making this up, these are called BAFs, big ass fans. If you missed it with the fans going, Frank Zarpa is from the Ancient Honorable, and I am, is he still here? So anyway, we thank him very much for his rendition of the national anthem. I still don't know how he does that without any music, any prelude. He just bounced it out, and Wow, wonderful stuff. Thanks a lot, Frank. Thanks a lot for doing that. Also, we have the director of, I know I saw him over here, Earl Bonnet. Where are you? There he is. He's the director of our Employee Support of the Guard and Reserve here. And thank you as well for joining our community event and being a part of this business. And I'd like to say one person that has a real special place in my heart, because it's really connecting what we do in the service, the training, the organization, and all the things we do in uniform, and connecting us with the community. We have something special in Massachusetts that's leading the nation in how we do this. We all know that, or you may have heard of, how we're trying to get the training as teachers involved into communities, and if you transfer from state to state in the military, that certificate, that training's recognized. We've done that with in Massachusetts. We've done that with drivers and CDL licenses. So if you get a CDL, if you get training on heavy equipment in the military, you automatically go into the Department of Motor Vehicles in Massachusetts and you get a CDL license. No additional training. Massachusetts did that. Now the next step, what about our law enforcement? What about our military police? What about our security forces? That training is similar, not exactly the same, but very similar to what local law enforcement has. So what happens if one of our military soldiers or airmen walks into a local police department and says, hey, I would like to have the opportunity to have a job in your police department? Well, what about your certificates of training? None of it is recognized across the nation on military training for military police or security forces, except here in Massachusetts, and that's because of one person seeing a vision and stepping forth with great risk and saying, we can do this. And that's Chief Hicks. I really thank you for your effort in making this work for our soldiers and airmen, and this is taking off like a flame in the wind across the nation. Everybody is calling us on why, how, when, where can we establish what you established here in our Commonwealth. And that's not just for this great town of Natick, but this is also for our Commonwealth and for our nation. That is what this building represents. That's the community partnership that I think is so important. That's what makes a big difference to every single person that's in this room, in this community, in this Commonwealth, in this nation. Thank you very much. That's truly impressive, Chief. Truly impressive. And you know, as we sit here, you know, and I've seen it firsthand. And unfortunately, with the passing of our fighter pilot last week in his crash in Virginia, but one of the things I saw, as I said, firsthand, was the plethora of benefits that we as a nation give to our families of our fallen and those that die in service of our country. And one of the things, Massachusetts leads the nation because of the efforts of Secretary Nee. Secretary Nee is the one who brought all that to our country, to our Commonwealth, and to say, not only do we get great federal benefits, but we get exceptional, #1 in the nation benefits for our military members. That's his fault. Thank you, Secretary Nee. And you know, Adam Freudberg over there, as we run the Military Asset and Security Task Force, I think I got that right, the MASS Task Force, as we connect the dots between all our military capabilities in the Commonwealth. Thank you for your being the executive director of that great institution that we've created, and hopefully this will be enduring and we can carry this on into the future. Well, I'd like to close with this. I'd like to close with just talking a little bit about DCAM and our Guard leadership in the local community. Alan Grady, where are you? I know I saw you over here. There he is. Stand up, please. Who from the community is here with you, the community partnership you created? I think two lovely young ladies over here. Please stand up. Nancy as well. I know you're sitting over there. I know Nancy's name because my wife's name's Nancy, so thank you for that. And who else is here from the community? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. of us, every single person sitting up here, every representative, everyone in uniform, everyone that lives in this community, we would die for you and your children in a moment's notice. No questions asked. That's our job. That's our job as service members, as warriors in your midst. And we would do it gladly, because there is no cost that's too great for the pursuit of liberty. We do it for you, our community, your community. We're all in this together. Thank you very much for seeing a vision and helping support us in building this place that lives, breathes, grows, change, evolves in your community. Thank you. So Liz, I know you mentioned a few names. I would like everyone from DCAM and everyone from J&J here to stand, please, as well. Who's here from J&J? Who's here from DCAM? Please stand. Thank you very much. See, this is the team. This is the team that you assembled here, and I know some of them are not here, but this is a representative, a piece of the team, and I thank you. Thank you all. Catherine, you're a wonderful project manager, and you're easy to work with. Liz and DCAM, we are so indebted to you and what you've done. Do you know we didn't have enough money on the federal side to make this work? You made this work. The state made this work. The Commonwealth, under your leadership and under Carol's leadership, brought this together, and you guys put all the pieces together. Thank you very much. Well done. So I am really honestly now just about to get off the stage. I like these fine gentlemen in the front row. Please stand up as well. This represents our senior leadership in the National Guard. Please turn around and show everyone. We have Colonel McGurn. We're going to promote him to General here shortly. We have Colonel Cody, our Chief of Staff, Colonel Devine. I should say, just as before, a plethora of colonels here. We have Colonel Mullen, please stand as well. We have Chief Quinn here. These guys, well done. And then we have a few in uniform back here, please stand as well. This represents the last piece, the glue, the work behind it all. Thank you very much. We're honored to be here. We're honored to be a part of this community. And the Guard motto is this: always ready, always there. I will never forget that. I will never, ever stop trying to make our community, our Guard, better, more willing, more able, and more a part of what our future is for ourselves and for our kids. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Thank you, General Rice. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite you to direct your attention to the ribbon as we officially open this new facility. Would representatives from J&J, DCAM, DHK, and the 26th MEB please come up and join Major General Rice and the official party for the ceremonial cutting of the ribbon to open this new Readiness Center. So please, afterwards, we're going to have a tour and take a look and let us know what you think. And not too many problems yet. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Readiness Center in Natick is now open. Chaplain Miner, will you please come up and offer the benediction?
Go now in peace. May the love of God surround you. May the grace of God astound you. May the hope of God ground you. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the official party departs. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Thank you for joining us for this grand opening. Please join us for a tour of the facility in 5 minutes in the back left. Thank you.